My little theater.
Thank you.
No. Really, do you find that in your busy life out in Hollywood now that you're able to keep up with the things that you did in New York, the international scene, that sort of thing? Do you manage to, keep au courant?
It's harder. You don't have the great newspapers out there. I understand they don't have them here either.
No, we don't. No. It's,
Yeah, I mean, what I can.
It's a serious profession, though, isn't it, really? I mean, the business of comedy. It's not something that people can just pick up automatically and...
Not at all, really, no,
right,
Dick.
no.
It's not serious. You can pick it up very quickly.
Yeah.
You have a natural talent for it. Dick?
You may have noticed...
You might.
I can't go on with this charade.
I was going to say, maybe a seat for me, because you might want to rap or something. I want to sit down together and... Wow, here's one.
Yeah, I thought it would be funny, you see. To put
that makes one of us.
I hope you haven't herniated.
I'll be doing that later.
Anyway, that was just a little bit of humor, and if you think that by looking at the clipboard you'll find out anything at all...
No, my knee I will now keep in front of it, so I don't have to see.
Simply a prop. Where are you now? I mean, are you a California Nick, a New York Nick, a commuter?
I'm presently living in California, but at the same time I'm here, as we can see. I travel back and forth and make my home in Cincinnati to keep a grip on all sides of the country.
Sort of stop off there to get a dose of reality.
Did we just go into the sewer, or are we still here?
No, the sewer is beckoning, but we're not there yet.
I saw the tidy bowl man reaching down, you know, and
I have for years.
I'll take this one.
I always felt sorry for that guy who was the actor who got the job in the toilet,
yeah,
you know.
That's the tidy bowl man. It's a nice job.
Tidy bowl man, yeah.
Got a commercial, honey.
Yeah.
That's great, Fred. What is it? I'm in a boat in a toilet. A little cheap rowboat.
Imagine.
How about the guy who played Manners, the butler? It's another good job.
I don't know where you go from a toilet job, but may have the opportunity to find out. Were you the funny guy at the fraternity? They always talk about a fraternity tinge to your comedy, or fraternity-like. I don't even know if you were in a fraternity.
I don't know what you mean by they.
Well, I mean different ones, as we say in the Midwest. The press, the scribes, the gentlemen who...
Probably the rival fraternities.
...can make or break us.
That's true. They can make or break us.
But you weren't one of those dreadful deeks or feeks or whatever they're called. Those...
Well, a lot of we geeks don't consider it dreadful. There are ways to eat. There are ways to practice a religion. This, of course, wouldn't be one of them. Mm-hmm. Let me put it this way.
But if I was casting about searching for a fact, you were not in a fraternity.
No,
I wasn't either. Does that surprise you?
No, not really. It doesn't particularly interest me. I wasn't in a fraternity, but
Why weren't you? And then I'll tell you why I wasn't, if I can summon some interest.
I tried to get into the sororities as much as I could. That's one reason. They just didn't have them much around those days.
At Bard?
Bard College, they didn't have fraternities.
Oh, yeah.
Bard College is a very filthy college, and small and liberal and progressive. So you don't have fraternities at a place like that because people simply rip them to pieces, burn them, and then smoke them. Later, that's the kind of... No, it's a very wonderful school. It's not. I'm not putting it down.
Bard backwards is drab, isn't it?
No.
No, that's right. I don't know what got into me.
I will say this. Parcheesi. No, I will say...
We'll say that, eh?
I got the script for Animal House, which I haven't seen yet, the movie Animal House, and I would urge all of you to stay away.
Anyone we know in that?
Just the Sasquatch, as far as I know.
Is that what they call Belushi?
Who's they? The other big feet?
Well, the folks around.
No, they don't. Yeah. We call him a kindly old patent tank, or a mindless old patent tank.
We're speaking of Jonathan Belushi, the distinguished actor and comic from Saturday Night Live, because not everybody sees that show.
That's true.
There are probably people who aren't watching this at the moment. And some of them are in the studio here, I think.
Yeah, I was going to say, turn around, face this way if you could. Yeah,
No, I
John's
never
first
joined
job
the
was one of these
fraternity.
bricks, I believe, when he...
Those are quite convincing, aren't they? You know, I don't know if you know Mel Brooks or not, do you?
Yeah.
He once said, in a moment of light seriousness, that every comic found out by accident at some early point in his life that he was the funny kid, without realizing it. He made his friends laugh. Certainly, I'm sure Mel did. And then
he's
learns
very
to
funny.
sort of solidify that and use it later consciously. And well, it's a nice theory. I don't know if would that. Do you recognize yourself in that? At 7 was young Chev breaking him up.
I wasn't as funny as Mel. He just kept the class in stitches. A lot of flatulence,
That means whipping yourself.
a lot of self-flatulence. In fact, I was basically a class clown with, of course, the authority of a very tall, good-looking fellow with good grades.
That's another way our lives are parallel.
Is my
yes.
lip bleeding? I just pulled some of the dead skin. You know how you do that? You do this, and more comes than you thought. And before you know it, you're using an ointment on the show.
Yes. I know exactly what you mean.
I was funny in class, about this funny. And
You probably were, weren't you? I mean,
Yeah, I was a
when the
hellraiser.
teacher turned her back, you probably did something satirical with a
Turned
paper
mine.
clip. That's not a bad idea. Are you the type that maps out your future? Is there a side to you that I don't suspect that goes into an office and says, gets on the phone and says, look, I want 3 pictures sitting next year. I want this many guest shots and so, and by next so many number of years, I want to be in this position in the business. Stop me when you recognize any of this.
I'd like to just get some of that down. Is it like just 3 pictures next year?
I'd like to be that way too, but
So I have a
don't
pilot
think
point
I am.
here for the 3-picture deals. There is a side of me that you don't see or know.
Mm-hmm.
That's my right side. Change around, you'll be able to see that side.
I think seeing a
It's
side
not funny
of
to
you.
make the sound effect. Okay? No, there isn't a side to me that has any aspiration, that drives toward any goal, that has in mind any place to get to. I've never cared about it. I've never stayed with a job more than a year, much to the credit of those who've hired me. And in fact, I was fired from Saturday night. A lot of people don't know that. I was fired for just being a little too funny.
Are you serious? Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm not serious.
But
Yeah, I have to now, of course, map out my life a little better. But it's not 3 pictures this year, that kind of thing. Actually, it is.
it may
It's
be,
2 this year.
But you don't know whether it is or not. So you're not.
I have to think a year and a half, 2 years in advance now, which is a mind blower for me.
When you had to go through the decision of whether to leave the secure nest of New York, which is never all that secure,
Secure nest of
yeah.
New York. Cabot says, secure nest of New York, tonight at 9.
do you, I guess my goal here is
Leaving
to
the
get you to
secure
finish
nest
it.
of New York and going out to that wild, crazy Cleveland. At first, it scared the living pants off me.
Yeah. First thing you get to Cleveland, you buy a pool, right? You get a Rolls. That
You
sort of.
can rent. You rent a pool.
Can you describe your surroundings if we came up and knocked at your door? What would we see?
Mostly just the door at first, and then, of course,
And as we
we might look
widen our-
around, find a doorbell, and then I'd hear you from the back in the gardens area.
Yeah.
Then one of several gardeners will come and answer the door for you.
You have the
And-
old Errol Flynn place?
No, I don't. I have his wallet. I live in an area of grandesque beauty, much like the secure nest of New York. And it's not very big. I live in a kind of a bachelor pad, a little place with Ralph. And I have a pool that sort of goes out to a lip, in a sense, much like the one I just bit the skin off. And grass around it. And of course, we grow our
I expect
our
that.
own. And I have a little land, but it's not. It's probably like your place in Montauk, which I haven't seen, but I've heard is quite pretty.
Well, you've never been invited.
Thank me. I understand after the show, though, I won't be going there.
This also is not true. Are those your own teeth, Chevy? Chevy?
Or am I just glad to see you?
Charles Bronson.
These are Charles Bronson's teeth.
Charles
I didn't want you to
Bronson.
bring it up.
I saw Charles Bronson refer to you as, what was it, Chevy Chase?
Chevy Chase.
Oh, he got them both wrong.
Yeah,
No.
he
Yeah.
said, I'll stick with the first one, Chevy. It's got to be Chase, because he didn't,
Yeah.
you know, I said, like choo-choo, Charlie.
I figure whatever Bronson wants to call
Charlie
you
Bronson.
is all right with me.
As far as I'm concerned, it's all right, but then again, a lot of people don't know that Charlie Bronson is shorter than you. He's a small guy, but stronger, a lot stronger than you.
I don't see how either of those is possible.
No, I don't see how either of those is possible.
Now, you don't think that at some point during this show I would resort to the low comedy of spritzing you with this water?
What is this, Perrier and Paraquat? Perrier and Pernod.
And pair of tights, I think. I don't know what it
Pair of
is.
shorts.
You know the old Martha Ray water take? Actually, she invented that.
What is it?
Well, you say something funny while I'm drinking. I'll show you.
Okay, this guy goes up to a booking agent, says, I got a great act for you.
No, you thought I was going to do it. Actually, I'm surprised.
I invented the great, of course, the very famous. Can we see the water? Yeah, you too, fella. Did you see what he
The
did?
man just held up a sign that said halfway. That means we're
Oh.
not living up to their expectations, but by
Oh, we're halfway
50%.
there?
Yeah.
Anyway, on this particular shot, you might be covering me, let's say, from here up, you know, just so that we could see that. I might be talking seriously and somehow inadvertently do that. Gets him every time. Of course, gets me wet and not really worth a tiny laugh.
But you're willing to sacrifice any part of yourself for a laugh. I know. You even.
And I'm still not coming to Montauk, Dick.
We. No, I know that.
What's the matter? A little too quick for the Yale boy?
I know there's nothing you will be serious about, but I do think that when you came out last week and announced it so bravely, I wondered if that upset your family at all when you came out of the closet and said,
So the hangers are ringing?
yeah.
It didn't upset them. I think both my mothers felt that it was a good step on my part. Of course, dads, all of them, thought that we better move along on that one.
Well, I didn't expect you to meet that quite so head-on, and I'm glad you did. I'm serious about those being your own teeth because in the vapid research that I did on you, I found
Vacuous.
vacuous and flatulent, whatever. I found that you had been beaten up a number of times in the past, and that you did, in fact, not live in elegance always. And
That's correct.
but could you fill
It's a
in
nice
the
thing, anyway, that I didn't.
Would you fill in the blanks that I've created there?
All right.
Mr.
Yeah, my teeth were knocked out a few times, but they weren't knocked out in fights a lot. Once they were knocked out, actually the first time they were knocked out, I was playing, I believe, polo with my brother, sitting over there now with his teeth in his hands. We were in Woodstock, where I grew up, and he was having his 13th birthday party. And we played polo, of course, with croquet mallets and croquet balls. It started off to be a friendly little croquet game, except that you've got 11, 13-year-old guys of the caliber of my brother, and there's trouble. And I made the very brilliant move of getting that ball out of the way so he couldn't make that shot by simply pushing it this way as the guy swung as hard as he could. And he missed the ball, and of course came up and took part of my chin and sent it to Juan Corona. And that only saved my teeth. And they were hit very hard. Yeah. They didn't fall out or anything. We went up to the porch. I was crying a lot. My mother came out half dead from the noise and sort of tapped them, and they just went blah, blah, blah. And the other one turned brown, much like these in here of yours that no people.
That's from a substance I chew. It has nothing to do with
black gum.
But your own mother knocked your dentures out, eh? Your teeth.
Well, I didn't say my own mother knocked my dentures out, did I, Dick? Nothing close to that.
Something like that in the story, wasn't it? Am I having one
These
of my
are
spells?
caps. These are crowns.
Those are not your teeth, in fact, then, but they're artifice.
I paid for them. I mean, they're mine now. You can lease them for a while. You can go on a day rate. They are not real, and I've knocked them out maybe 5 times since then. I knocked them out skiing. I knocked them out in a fight. I knocked them out
Tell me about the
watching
fight,
a fight.
because I have a terrible temper, and I used to get in fights as a kid, which was ill-advised, because I felt that I looked like Robert Mitchum and was built somewhat like him, which I am in a miniaturized way.
Yeah.
But
Small goose.
Didn't you live in a tough neighborhood in the West Side once and get your teeth knocked out of?
No, the toughest neighborhood we lived in was, I guess, Park and 86th Street. No, it was 95th Street in Lexington, which was just off East Harlem. Yeah. We lived on a very nice block, and it was brownstones, but at the same time, just from around the corner, a lot of kind of Upper East Side gang types from different persuasions would come around and take my money. So and my brother too, we kind of learned to deal with that. Ned was in a few fights himself. The first time was when I terrorized a very small man who had dirty fingernails. I was roller skating. I was about 12. And there was no good reason for it at all. I simply was with a group of other juvenile delinquents and said he had dirty fingernails. He was serving hot dogs out of this open area of the street. And he didn't like the fact that he was going to lose business by my just yelling that his nails were dirty. So he came out and punched me. And I almost cost him his job. He had to go to court. And he must have been a poor man. It was a nice thing for me to do, you know. But he really walloped me. And he just, again, sent more Juan's credentials to him.
Tell me, I'm interested because I did a, well, this is a dangerous thing to say because I don't know my taping air schedule, but as I sit here now, which of course is not real of time, I just taped a couple of shows on cocaine, and a lady from California was talking about the scene out there. Is it true that Bruce Dern is probably the only clean actor in Hollywood these days, or one would get that impression at a party?
He doesn't smell that clean. I don't go to a lot of Bruce's cocaine parties. I understand he gives a lot of them. They run, and then they do cocaine. I don't...
I mean, he sat and lied to
I don't know
me
why you would... Let me just get this. Ask me something like that. I don't go to many parties. I don't think that it's that prevalent out there. It's darn hard to get it. But it's an interesting question.
Is it? It is, yes. I probably...
Let's talk misdemeanor.
I'll use it elsewhere sometime. There's no chance of getting you to talk...
I don't think that is true, actually.
No.
I think Bruce takes a great deal of... I really have no idea where that came from or why.
He sat here one time and swore that he was as clean as...
Well, you know what gets me? First of all, he's our age.
Right.
And he looks 50. Now, the man... I like him very much. When I say our age, of course, I mean my age.
You mean our combined age. No.
But
what should we pick on?
Here's a man who, you know, runs 15, 20 miles a day, does marathons, and of course, no one's ever heard of him as a runner. So it's equivalent, but people ask him advice on running. He must be a great runner. He runs 15 miles. And man, it's like a man playing 8 hours of tennis every day, and he's still so bad that you just don't hear about him. You never know who he is. He doesn't play in any tournaments, and or he plays in a lot and loses. And you ask him advice, like, what do you do with your serve? I don't know, 15 hours a day, and I'm still this bad. It sort of always interested me.
That's a side of you that I haven't seen. I don't suppose any chance of getting you to talk seriously about what could I call it, the rumored animosity that your friends on Saturday Night Live were supposed to have felt when you left, and they thought maybe you endangered their careers and yours, perhaps.
I can talk about that, seriously. Yeah. Here?
Oh, yeah, right.
Well, I don't know what the rumors are. I haven't been in New York much. I get calls, and they say, Chev, we heard this and that, and I must say that they're right. There was some animosity, but it was only Belushi, and I believe if you ask him about it, you'll hear... he's learning to eat with his mouth now, though. So. There wasn't any. There was just a lot of, I think, a little bit of elitism up there when I was last up there. The feeling was we're the only TV show in New York, and they're just about right. Of course, there's this one. No, I guess they're the only.
He's speaking statistically, of course. Yeah.
But it wasn't nearly as what people had thought. It lasted for about a minute before the show, and ruined my performance, I guess, for a good half hour. And then it was over with. I wouldn't say who it was. It wasn't John or anybody else. It was just a general feeling that I wanted to kick the living daylights out of a few of the people there.
I see. Well, for a moment, I thought you wouldn't be serious about that, and you surprised me.
Well, I didn't get detailed because it's just not fair to Gilda.
Besides, you don't have the nerve to
Who has a foul mouth.
Have you felt any of the, what is it supposed to be, the culture shock of going out to California? And I read a piece in crawdaddy of all publications. And
They speak highly of you.
oh yeah, no, but I mean,
We spoke to Dick, of all people, Cavett.
it's just a funny sounding name because people expect you to say I read a
I
piece.
think Cavett's a good
Time
name.
or
What was it?
something like
Cavett
that.
Stein before?
I've asked you never to mention this in public. And there's something ominous about it. You know, there are bad vibes in California Times. There was a piece it was a well-written piece, and there was a bit about strange types that lurk around people's houses out there and that sort of thing. Is it? I'm not going to get anywhere with this.
Let's put it this way. The writer of the piece is paranoid, and I don't know what they said about strange people in L.A. hanging around. I didn't read the piece. I hear it was on me, ostensibly.
Yeah, you're right on the cover.
And I was on the cover of the magazine doing this or something.
That's right.
Crazy kind of a thing. But of course, it's one of those, of all things, tiny iconoclastic publications, and whatever they want to say to sell a magazine is what's going to have to be published, basically. There's no problem out there. The Mansons are all away, as far as we know. A couple of them live up the road. They drop by once in a while. But we have magnums all over the place, and of course, there's an overwhelming amount of drug taking out there. So a lot of people get frightened at strange people who lurk around their houses. But of course, as I say, we have guns. So.
And permits for them.
No rumor there. That's for truth. That's truth.
Do you read much, Chevy?
I'm trying to read the notes here, see what question you're on. That's just,
Those are for another guest. I just thought it would
We're
be
another color, Dick.
amusing.
yeah.
I mean, do you have what you might call
I didn't.
an intellectual life aside from your own?
Oh. I thought I had a mic here.
You have gotten strange.
Yeah.
Oh, they're using two mics
Yeah,
on you
well,
because they figure that
just
they
glad
might
to see
double
me.
the impact of what you're saying. And I don't know what that's about.
I guess it's a mic.
It probably means that either this mic has failed or that one of us has. And it's very strange. You're not supposed to point out the machinery of television. People are
My
supposed to think it
mistake.
comes to them by magic.
It does. That's what I'm wondering. What?
Yeah.
What was the question?
I have no idea. I haven't the slightest idea. It was sometime back.
Let's talk about you.
Why don't we talk
no,
about
let's,
me?
Let's talk about me.
Oh, no, okay.
Really, let's talk about me. My next movie, Foul Streak, which I know you'll be enjoying.
Street, eh?
Foul Streak.
Oh, Streak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jeez, it's a good joke.
I thought you said foul street. Is there a serious side to you that's... Why don't we invite the people who are laughing backstage to come out here?
You know, you're making me hot.
Are you ever shocked by anything? I mean, have you ever seen anything that, as you explore the borders of taste and so on in your work?
Not really. When I first met you, I was a little shocked. Knocks on the door and
You
who
wanna
is
go?
it? Oh, hello, little fellow. What can I do for? Come on. What can I do for you? I'd love to do the show. Sure thing, Dick. Yeah.
Oh,
There's a boy.
if I were on your shoulder, what'd I do?
Puppy chow for a full year. Remember that. Till you're full grown, Dick. Puppy chow.
Why are you perspiring? Do you think I'm...
I think
I'm
you're
likely
making me
to
feel
attack you
very
in some way?
uncomfortable.
Really, because
With that hot one, the hot light, the funny hot
there
light.
is a very hot light there. Yeah, we did a sketch together on Saturday Night Live one time that played to, I think, record-breaking silence.
God,
Do you
that was a
remember? It
talk show
sort of
piece that I
interview.
wrote.
In fact,
I think.
it's deja vu. We were sitting like this, and you were interviewing me, and I was playing a pimp.
And you were sweating.
Yeah.
That's right. You were playing a pimp. I didn't write that. I don't write pimp jokes.
I was playing a sort of white-black pimp.
Yeah.
Why any of you thought of me that way, I do not know to this day. And I just remember that at the end of it, I thanked the audience for not interrupting us with a lot of laughter. And even that, you know, didn't seem to...
Is this funny? Yeah.
You're using
Why
me to
should- why I should
experiment
be so
with...
hot.
I know a quick way to cool off.
Do you?
Yeah. No, actually, there's a danger in that because if our microphones were to be inundated with water, we would instantly be welded into a lewd pop sculpture.
Yeah. Famous Perrier death.
Yeah.
You know how they make Perrier, don't you? I discovered this.
How do they do it?
You get a bunch of Frenchmen
I don't know that we want to know that.
around a table,
I don't think we want to.
and they just take regular water and they go, and it goes around and they go.
We have 3 seconds left.
Cap on.
This has been very enlightening. I know it would be amazing to you that the time is up.
Is it up?
And thank you for revealing the inside, serious Chevy chase that we all suspected existed and, in fact, dreaded. We'll see you tomorrow night, and good night.